He stood at the side of the road, trembling with every step. His hands clutched two broken sticks, the only things keeping him from falling. His clothes were worn, his face marked with years of struggle. Cars rushed past him, drivers barely sparing a glance. Then a black Bugatti rolled to a stop, the window lowered, and from inside a voice called out, "Are you okay, sir?" The elderly man looked up, confused. He wasn't used to people stopping. He wasn't used to kindness. What happened next was something no one expected. The old man blinked a few times, adjusting his eyes to the bright sunlight. He wasn't sure if he had heard correctly. People rarely spoke to him. Standing in front of him now were two tall men, both well-dressed, both watching him with concern. He recognized them immediately. Andrew and Tristan Tate. The world knew them as powerful, confident, and wealthy, but at this moment, none of that mattered. Right now, they weren't businessmen or internet personalities. They were just two men looking at someone who clearly needed help. Andrew stepped forward first. "Sir, where are you trying to go?" The old man hesitated, gripping his makeshift crutches. His voice was rough, tired. "Just home," he said softly. Tristan glanced down at the sticks the man was using to walk. They weren't crutches at all. They were branches snapped from a tree, barely supporting his weight. The sight made Tristan's jaw tighten. Andrew's expression darkened. "How long have you been walking like this?" The old man sighed. "A while." He shifted, trying to balance himself. "Lost my cane, couldn't afford another one." A pause, a heavy silence. Most people would have walked away. Most people would have nodded and kept driving. But Andrew and Tristan weren't like most people. Without saying another word, Andrew reached into his pocket. Tristan was already moving toward the car. They had made a decision, and within seconds everything changed for the elderly man. Andrew pulled out a thick stack of cash. No cameras, no performance, just a simple gesture, done without hesitation. He flipped through the bills and handed a handful to the old man. "Here," Andrew said. "Get yourself a proper cane and anything else you need." The old man's hands trembled as he took the money. His eyes widened, darting between the cash and Andrew's face, as if trying to understand if this was real. Tristan returned from the car, carrying something in his hands. A sleek, polished cane. He had remembered there was one in the trunk, something they had picked up for a friend, who never ended up using it. Now, it had found its real owner. Kneeling slightly, Tristan handed the cane to the old man. "Try this," he said. The old man hesitated, then let go of the broken sticks and gripped the handle of the cane. For the first time in years, he felt stable, balanced, safe. He looked up, his lips quivering. He wanted to say something, but no words came out. Instead, his eyes filled with tears. "You don't know what this means to me," he whispered. Andrew clapped a hand on his shoulder. "You don't need to thank us. Just promise me something." The old man nodded. Andrew smiled. "Keep walking, and don't ever let the world break you." The elderly man wiped his eyes. He didn't say much after that. He couldn't, but his face, his trembling smile, his watery eyes, they said everything. The old man stood there, gripping his new cane, still unable to believe what had just happened. People had ignored him for years, treating him like he was invisible. But now, two strangers had changed his life in a matter of minutes. He swallowed hard, looking at the money in his hands. It wasn't just cash, it was dignity. It meant he could buy food without counting coins. It meant he could get proper shoes, maybe even visit a doctor. Tristan patted him on the back.
"You'll be all right, yeah?"
The old man nodded quickly, still at a loss for words. Andrew and Tristan turned to leave, ready to get back in their car. But then the old man's voice stopped them.
"Wait!"
He called out. "Please, tell me your names." Andrew smiled. "Just call us friends." And with that, they got back in the car and drove off, leaving the old man standing there, holding the cane, like it was the most valuable thing in the world. But the story didn't end there. Later that evening, someone posted about the moment online. A passerby had witnessed everything and shared the story. Within hours, it spread like wildfire. Thousands of people were moved by what had happened. The comments flooded in. This is what real wealth looks like. Not all heroes wear capes. Respect to the Tate brothers for this. The next morning, something even more incredible happened. The old man, still adjusting to his new cane, walked to his usual spot in town. But this time, people saw him differently. Strangers stopped to talk to him. Some offered him food. Others gave him even more money. A local charity reached out, offering to help him permanently. All because of a simple act of kindness. One moment, one decision, one life changed. And that's the kind of power kindness holds. Small actions create big ripples. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because kindness is contagious, and you never know whose life you might change next. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.